Welcome back to the Gentleman's Parlour, the sanctuary where a man refines his thinking, sharpens his discipline, and steps deeper into the architecture of true power. In the last episode, we spoke about the difference between privilege and power. Today, we go a bit further because a gentleman cannot claim power simply by desire or presentation. Power demands two things: a mastermind and a governed financial life. Most men chase opportunity without ever cultivating the internal structure that can hold opportunity. They want wealth without discipline. They want success without order, respect without sovereignty. But a powerful man understands this. Your mind is the throne and your money is the kingdom. If the mind is scattered, the finances will be chaotic. If the mind is disciplined, the finances will obey. Mental power creates financial power, and together they form the backbone of a gentleman's life. So today we're stepping into the quiet science of self governance, the mental frameworks that produce clarity, the financial behavior that produce control, and the habits that separate a refined gentleman from the ordinary man who simply hopes for better days. Welcome to the parlor, old sport. Pour yourself in. Let's talk power. So let's get into the episode, man. The first segment is entitled "The Mind, the Control Tower, and the Commander of the Gentleman." The mind is the first seat of power. Before a man shapes his finances, his career, or his relationships, he must shape his thinking. The mind functions as a gentleman's control tower. It organizes the entire internal ecosystem. It decides what gets your attention. It filters what is important from the noise and sets the emotional tone of your day. So your mind determines how you respond under pressure. It also creates the discipline that your body tends to follow after. Your mind is the architect of your body is the builder. Your mind is the general. Your habits are the soldiers. So I say that because I have felt for years that many gentlemen, many men really took on a lot, right? We took on a lot, we take on a lot, and it's more so about what do we have to do today? What task do we have to get done today? Uh, we got to take care of kids. We have to take care of mama, daddy. If if the parents still alive, if you have older, or younger siblings, you got to oversee them from time to time. So a lot of times, gentlemen tend to. I don't want to say men keep a lot on their mind, right? Men keep a lot on their mind, and a lot of times we don't really open up the way we need to. Like I told my father before he passed, I say, Dad, you gotta release, you gotta clear your mind, man. Because if you don't clear your mind, it's not gonna end well, right? And from a sense of, stress is a killer, right? Stress is a killer. And I don't want anyone to stress, not around me, because I have seen the good and the bad of what stress do, right? And so with the mind, how you think, how you move, how you function, how you speak, it all starts in your mind, right? Um, I have this app, I have the software that I use called Mindcera. And with Mindcera, it's more so of a way of helping you to journal and helping you to really um declutter your mind and declutter your thoughts because we humans today have a lot that they are going through. We just got to be real. Humans have a lot got humans have a lot going on, and you have to strengthen your mind in a sense of not always necessarily not doing this or not doing that, but more so how you think about yourself, how you think about your situation, right? I learned from my father how to be even killed, right? In the face of some of the hardest moments of his life, he had to bury his sister. He had to bury his mother, right? I watched that man stand there and conduct business the way he needed to. So unfortunately, when he passed, I did the same thing. And so I had a beautiful example of how to be a man, how to handle adversity, because the way my mind is operated and the way I have retrained my mind is to not necessarily get too up or down, because we tend to think negative because this world forces us to think negative. We are less than. We don't look as good. We don't work as well, or whatever the case may be. And to me, it's not a race thing. America teaches its people to dumb themselves down. Right? I'm a competitive kind of guy. I want to be the best. I want to beat you. Right? But also, the world tells you not to think that you are better than anyone. Well, in competition, if you're going against somebody, you're better than them. If you beat them, you're better than them for the most part. So you have to get in your mind that you are better than a situation. If you feel that way, if you don't feel that you're better than what your situation is, well then that's on you. But I would it would behoove one to really retrain the way we think, because if we retrain the way we think, it's certain things that wouldn't take place. We would read more, we would work out more, we would eat better. Excuse me, we would eat cleaner. We would be mindful of the things that we say. We would be mindful of the music that we listen to. We would be mindful of the social media that we look at, the YouTube that we look at, right? Me, I am big on learning, learning, and more learning, right? I threw myself in AI. I've thrown myself in the podcast. I remember hearing about podcasts back in 2010, but what podcast was not what it is today. So I had to learn it. I love cigars. I feel like I'm becoming a cigar enthusiast, right? I had to learn how to use cigars. I had to learn how to cut them properly, how to light them properly, how to inhale them properly. Well, when I want to learn something, I totally ingratiate myself with in every sense of the word, because what I take in, I have to put out. What I take in, it's like the term that people used to say, "You are what you eat." That's a true statement, right? If you eat fat food, you're going to get fat. If you eat greasy food, it's going to clog your arteries, right? So, in tuning the mind, we gotta not take in a lot of the negative, because the mind is the throne. The actions are the kingdom that expands from it. A scattered mind does create a scattered life. How many people walk throughout life and really don't? I don't want to say don't have no purpose, but one thing they say is that they scatterbrain, right? And most times, if you're a scatterbrain, or if you can't lock in, as we say today, on a specific thing, you jump from here, there, to everywhere. Your life will reflect that. Your life will reflect that. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. And I have to work on that as well as a man. See, the thing with this podcast, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle channel for men to be men. It is a lifestyle channel so that men can say, "Hey, I went through that too. What is this gentleman doing, or what are other gentlemen around him doing to be better about themselves?" I had to create discipline because there were certain things that I wanted to do. There are certain realms that I want to be in that everybody cannot be in. My goal is not to be good at something. My goal is to be all time at anything that I put my hands on. I spoke to a lady the other day and I asked her, I say, "Do you want to be good at this, or do you want to be all time?" Because I heard Kanye say something in the song. He was like, "I'm looking to be on the all time list." My last name, my father, the name that my father had, the surname that my father had is going to go up there because of me and because of what we have going on. It's going to go up there with the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Carnegies and the Morgans and the DuPont and the Bushes as well as the Vanderbilts. Yes, I will. Not because that's not a flex to me. That's because that is what my mind is set on, and God gave me a brain to do it. I get passionate about this because men lack so much, but it starts in their mind. The United Negro College Fund, I believe, said the mind is a terrible thing to waste. But that's the first thing in manipulation. That's the first thing you go for. You go for a person's mind because it's just like when a person say you kill a snake. When you kill the head, when you cut the head off, the body gonna die too. That's just how it go. You have to get your mind fixated on what you want. I want world domination. I am looking to build something that will succeed, that will live over centuries. Y'all talk years, I talk centuries. Millenniums, even, right? So what do? I don't watch television no more. I watch sports. I watch a little sports and then I get off. I watch my team. I watch the Texans. I watch the Rockets. I catch Astros games when I can. I watch University of Colorado, and now with Swag TV, I watch Prairie View. When I'm not watching TV, because I'm not watching TV, I am looking at YouTube videos, how to become a good trader. What do I need to do for my gentleman's lifestyle? How do I need to dress? What are proper grooming techniques? All of that is centered around the mind. How my mind operates will determine everything. I used to say a specific term, and my friend, she would tell me, "Hey man, you can't say that. You can't say that." And it was just like, as they say, a figure of speech. But what we cannot do is we cannot keep saying these figures of speeches, and then when we end up turning into that, we end up turning into that, right? You have to have the right mind frame in order to get to the money that you are looking to get to. Facts. Gentlemen, we go to work to have money to provide for our family. Whether we have kids, whether we have a girlfriend, a wife, whether we have a home mortgage, car loans, investments, student loans, in school, whatever. We go to work to make money for that. But now, excuse me, in changing my mind, I'm not going to work to get money. I'm going to work to make my money work for me. We create business, we create commerce, we create capital so that it can work for us. But that takes a mind frame because the mind frame of many people that look like myself, you go to work and you go to work so you can put food on the table. You go to work so you can have things. Whereas now I'm not going to work so I can have things. I'm having things while I'm at work. It's not a play on words. It was real. That's relied on. Yes, I am a gentleman, but sometimes I gotta let y'all know when it's relied on. That's the brain on display. Yeah, shout out to South Park. But a sovereign mind creates a sovereign life. This is why, ladies, men guard our thoughts like treasure. We use our thoughts to organize our days, structure our decisions, and regulate our emotions and maintain clarity throughout chaos. Women, y'all look to us. Y'all want providers. Uh y'all want providers. Y'all want protectors. Y'all want all this. It's a reason why we are God. It's a reason why we cannot give you all that you expect us to give you. It has nothing to do with you. Oh, absolutely not. Because most men, we are trying to figure out how we can better ourselves, how we can place ourselves in a better position so that in case you do become the wife or the mother of my kids, if you are not already. To some, I don't have kids, thank God. But we have to make it to where you can't, you cannot struggle under my wife. You are my responsibility at that point. But that's a mind frame in and of itself. This episode is pertaining to the mind and finance, right? And why does the mind and finances work hand in hand? Because again, you cannot know nothing about money. Expect that when you get money, you're gonna know everything. Name, image, and likeness, better known as NIL. Kids are able to generate NIL valuations in high school. But the high schools don't teach daggone kids financial literacy. So now, instead of getting to the pros and going, instead of going to the pros and then retiring and being broke, now you go start these kids off young with a lot of money, and then they go be broke by the time they get in college. Because why? What if you get into the transfer portal and you cannot manage your money? What if you get into the transfer portal and you don't get a school? What if you get a school and they don't pay you what you think you worth? How are you gonna take that $1 million and flip that $1 million and make 1 million turn into 10 million? It's a mind frame. It's a mind frame, man. You gotta you gotta work your mind like a muscle in the gym. And the way you do that is what you hear and what you see. When you want to build muscle, you feed it eggs, you feed it red meat, anything with testosterone, right? You feed it protein, right? So you have to feed your mind too. You have to feed your mind positive things. You can't watch everybody fighting all day. You can't watch porn. You cannot watch porn. You cannot watch porn. We have to become stoic in our thought. Sometimes we have to be cold. It's not that we don't like the world, but we working on something. And we gotta retune and refine. We gotta fine tune our minds so that as we go, when we reach the pinnacle in which we are working for, not only will we get there, but we will get there and we will not go back to the ways that we want. When the mind is strong, the body must obey. When you organize your mind, your body becomes productive. But when that mind is focused, the life becomes ordered. Everything begins with your mind. It is the power center of these gentlemen. It really is. Everything starts with your mind. The choices that you make. You see certain things, you know that that woman is not right. She might not be a bad woman. She just might not be right for you. You have to make a decision. Do you like the booty or do you like your life? And a lot of times, no disrespect to women, because this has nothing to do with women, we make the wrong decisions because our mind not right. I'm just honest. Our mind isn't right. And we we need grace, right? We need grace. We don't need grace so that we can do whatever we want to do and then get away with it. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about needing grace from a perspective of sometimes we may not. Everybody don't have great role models and great examples. I was blessed to have a great role model and a great example, right? I was blessed to have a gentleman whose mind, though it was cluttered, he still heard the voice of God. See, men today need grace because we are attacked. Nah, I don't want to say attacked. We have a lot of different temptations, and everybody was not taught that the mind must renew. Everybody wasn't taught that. I was blessed again. I was blessed to learn that on my own because the more I fed my mind different content, the more I delved deeper. The further down that foxhole, no, excuse me, that rabbit hole I went, right? I'm not making excuses for no one, but I really, really, really want people to give each other grace, but men reprogram, retool, recalibrate, rewire your mind. When you can do that, when you stop worrying about somebody putting their foot on your neck, when you can stop comparing yourself to the white man, when you can stop, you will be better, I guarantee you. I love Shador Sanders, and I'm going to end this segment on this note. I love Shador Sanders because he has a strong mind. His father helped tune his mind. But that man does not have to bow down or kiss nobody's ring. But now he's finally getting his shot. And with that, we are heading into segment 2, man. Let's go. Yes, Lord. We back. Yeah, we back. And then we are in segment 2. Segment 2, this segment is definitely about finance. But it's about finances, but not necessarily from a money making standpoint. It's more so about finances from a mental standpoint, right? So the kingdom you build, rule, and expand. So the the most men's biggest issue is not what they look like, it's not size, it's not stature, not even health. The man's what a man struggles with the most is his finance. When a man doesn't have the money, a man does not is never going to feel like he's a man. Like serious. If a gentleman feels we were taught and we were told by several different entities, school, job, woman, daddy, mama, whoever. At certain levels of life, you should have a certain number in your savings account or in net worth or whatever, right? So the thing that most men struggle with is his finance. A woman to leave a man, a woman to stay with a rich man. Again, this is not about women. This is not about women. We going somewhere with this. A woman to stay with a man if he ugly, but he got money. A woman to stay with a man if he got a micro peen, as they say, but he got money. But when a man don't have the money no more, she's gone. And I understand it. I'm not mad at her. I understand it. Money makes the world go round. People say the love. People say money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. The love for money is the root of all evil. And most people don't love money like that. Most people think that money will solve their problem. Many men think that if they had money that they could have kept their woman. Many men think that if they had money they could have the house that they want. Men think that if they had money they could have the life that they wanted. But many men don't understand that it takes a mind. It takes a strong mind to be able to handle a lot of $1 million worth of money. Sometimes I think personally, sometimes I think that's why I haven't gotten where I need to be. Because my mind might not be ready yet to attain or acquire that type of money. Right? Sonic, I'm getting stopped up. So if the mind is the command center, the finances are the kingdom. It represents structure, security, and sovereignty. Sovereignty is power. When you have money, Kanye told you no one man should have all this power. Doors open, people stand up. Some people will even bow to you if you have money. But this is not about money. This is about finance. What is the difference? The difference is knowing how to manage and maintain and assign your income to benefit you. Many times, man, excuse me, many times a man who has a chaotic mind or a man who's in survival mode, most times he's gonna throw the money away. If you're not used to having money, you're going to throw the money away. This is why a lot of athletes end up broke before they're 2 years out of retirement, or if they have been forced out of the leagues or whatever, because they don't understand finance, right? With finance comes wealth management. So we gentlemen, we have to learn how to really truly manage money. We must understand financial literacy. Period. We gotta understand financial literacy because we all holler about we want to be millionaire. Every young man, every young black man in the hood, his number is a million. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. But then when a lot of them get to the millions, they can't maintain it or keep it. Got to buy mama a big ass house. Excuse me. You have to buy mama a big house. You have to buy a nice car. You got to buy exotic cars. Now, if you're gonna do that, but then you understand how to utilize that properly, well, then that'll make money for you. But many of us do not, because many of us just know when I get money, I'm gonna do. When I get money, I'm going to buy a color. When I get money, I'm gonna get a Lamborghini. When I get money, I'm gonna get a Maybach. When I get money, I'm gonna get the big Cuban link. When I get money, I'm gonna get the Princess cutback. Yes, you heard me. And yeah, I'm gonna buzz down that AP. Shout out to Shakur. Right. But we don't understand appreciation. And I'm not saying being thankful or happy that you get it. I'm talking about the fact that when you get that car off the lot, it starts to lose its value. We don't understand values anymore. With the mind and with money, we do not understand value. Value. We don't value nothing. We don't. Many of us don't. So what, Sean? Well, we must learn that money in the hands of a chaotic man will definitely disappear. Money in the hands of a disciplined man multiplies. A gentleman uses his finances to build stability, to create opportunity, to invest in assets, to fund his vision, provide a legacy, and to protect his future. If you don't have a purpose, none of the money is going to matter. If you don't have a plan, none of it is going to matter. If you are undisciplined, you are going to blow it. You go blow it on a woman, you definitely go blow it on a woman. Because you go from eating chili to eating that Ruth Chris. You're not going to understand that everything is a la carte. They ain't got no meals. They don't have no platters. So we have to get in all things get understanding. You gotta get understanding. This is why I started with the mind and finances, because they go hand in hand. The mind and finances go hand in hand because once again, If your mind is not right, your money is gone. Period. It's gone. You will blow. Somebody's going to come with a beautiful business idea, and you know they don't have no beautiful business idea because when you was talking about doing your business, they couldn't give you no insight on how to do it. So what are we talking about here? Come on, man. So if you have friends around you who don't understand the mind and money, y'all all learn together. There's nothing wrong with y'all learning together. There's nothing wrong with learning together. Finances shape the world in which you reign. They determine how freely you move, how boldly you act, and how high you can build. So now what we have to do is we have to train and guard this thing called the mind. And we have to learn what are assets, what are liabilities, what does bring value, what takes value away, right? What is it that can get you where you need to be? How much money would it take? I need you to ask yourself this question. If you got $1 million, better you know, bump it. I'm gonna do something. If you got $7 million, can you honestly, legally, turn that 7 million into 21 million? If you say yes, tell me how. Don't tell me it's rhetorical. Tell yourself, write it down. If you can't, you need to work with what you can work with. Because the more put any number in your mind. Focus on that number. Use YouTube, use ChatGPT, use Wikipedia. I don't care what you use. Find ways to learn how to get to that number. But in doing that, figure out how you can learn and grow. What can you do different? You work at the refinery. Okay, you make good money. You work at Texas Roadhouse. You make money. You work at a department store. What are we doing to take the finances that we get every day and make it work for us? I said to myself, I cannot use any more excuses. I can't. I cannot use any more excuses. I decided to do this podcast so that I can help men, but I also did this podcast so I can help myself. I have a voice. I have a strong voice. I have a great mind. I want gentlemen to better themselves. I want men to be men. That's it. Nothing else. Your finances can help you do that. Your finances can help you do that. So let's look at it's a few things, right? People say get savings account, right? Your parents used to say get a savings account. Get you a nice savings. You build your savings. Your job offers a 401k. Okay. Um, you have the stock market, right? Well, today we have high yield savings accounts. A lot of high yield savings accounts now they pay you 3.53 to 3.3 to 4% annual yield. Learn what a yield is. I still don't know what a yield is, but I am learning, right? In the stock market, people always talk about the New York Stock Exchange, right? And the NASDAQ. The S&P 500 is home to a lot of ETFs. I listened to the podcast Rich Habits. I believe it's called Rich Habits Podcast on Spotify. And they speak to an older guy, an older gentleman and a younger gentleman. They speak to men about how to properly build wealth via um, stocks, assets, uh, boring business, side hustles, stuff like that. These gentlemen, I believe, both said their net worth had at some point or is currently at or over $1 million, right? Um, EYL, Earn Your Leisure. Those gentlemen took a podcast. Those gentlemen took a podcast and turned that podcast into something major. They've written books. They have different conferences that they do. They are on other podcasts talking about what they have going on. You have to take, as a man, you have to take a seed and just plant the damn seed. We can't keep again. We cannot keep talking about the white man do this and the white man do that. It is 2026. I don't care what you talking about. Hell, a black man hurt you more than a white man do, black man. So I need us to learn how to really. People talk about flipping money. I need you to learn, and I ain't talking about scammers because they got a shit ton of scammers. I'm talking about how can you take your normal everyday paycheck and make that paycheck something major. It can be done. You have to be willing to learn. We have to be willing to take risks, myself included. Doing this podcast is easy for some. It's a risk for me. I'm just transparent. It's a risk for me. So now, again, I'm learning about credit. I'm learning about the high yield savings. I'm learning about the nuances of having a Roth IRA. I'm learning the nuances of a life insurance policy. A life insurance policy, and I learned that from Walker Flocker. Flocker, if you ever hear this, thank you, my brother. Thank you. But I learned from Walker about how to take a life insurance policy and turn that thing into the best savings account that one could have. Learn taxes, learn tax laws, right? Because when you understand how you are taxed, again, men, it's about the mind frame. It is about the mind frame. You have to get in your mind how you are going to maneuver. If you do anything, you gotta have a plan. You want to build your credit. Why are you building your credit? What are you build? What are you looking to do with the credit that you build? Are you looking to get a high limit credit card? Or are you looking to get business credit? What are we gonna do with it? Now when you get this high credit card, right? How you gonna pay it back? Do you have the wherewithal and the knowledge and the understanding on how to pay it back? You probably don't. But we have to learn it. Get it in your mind. Retrain your algorithm. Retrain your algorithm. You tell your algorithm what you want to see. Because what AI does, artificial intelligence, is when you talk about certain things and when you click on certain things and when you search certain things, well, this is what you want to see. Well, if you want to change your mind, put on search some motivational videos. Search motivational videos. Look at Kobe Bryant and the Mamba mentality was just an unfathomable work ethic. Kobe got in his mind. He looked to Mike. He wanted to be better than Michael. So he worked, he studied Michael, he studied Rich Miller, he studied LeBron, he studied everything about the people who he went up against so he could know how to go against them. If you are looking to get into a specific career field, learn the damn field. Learn the field, understand the ins and outs, the nuances, the ups and downs. What are the trends? When you get to this trend, excuse me, how are you going to maneuver in this said career field, right? Learn everything that you can because the more you learn, the more you're going to fine tune your mind. And then by the time to deal with a woman, it's going to be easy. I study women. I like women. I study women, right? I understand how they move. I understand body language. I understand tone of voice, right? But also in my career field, I understand. I'm learning more and more. NIL. I'm learning more and more how to negotiate contracts, right? I'm learning I'm learning zoning laws. Now we're getting into politics and we're getting into law. So it's like my bad. I got real lip with it. I had to learn. I had to retune my change what I see. I had to change what I saw and what I listened to. I listen to jazz. It's calming. I'm calm. I listen to R&B. It's calming. I'm calm. Right? Because I don't want my mind dark and chaotic. I tuned out some of the trap. So I say that to say this, right? How much influence you carry? The man who cannot direct his money will always live beneath his potential. But the man who assigns every dollar to a purpose becomes dangerous in the best way. Finances are not about vanity. They are mainly about strategy. They are about stewardship. They are about freedom. A gentleman is not owned by money. He governs. He commands his. He organizes his resources, and in doing so, he commands his life. Man, Dominique, look what type of time I'm on, man. We working, baby. Yeah, we work. Alright, man, we back, dog. We back to segment number three, man. And it's just kind of tying everything together, right? The gentleman's framework for power. So now we bring both of the pillars together, the mind and the money. A disciplined mind leads to disciplined finances. A controlled mind produces controlled spending. A visionary mind creates visionary investment. So with that, right? Excuse me. Many times we have spending problems because we are trying to make use of what we have, right? We try to make use of having not having enough and trying to stretch not having enough to have more than enough, right? It does get tough at times. Don't get me wrong. As they used to say, we have to rob Peter to pay Paul, right? But understanding how to see the vision because of the mind frame, which is the visionary mind, it will create the investments that you have seen in your mind, right? So, with that being said, again, we must continue to feed the mind with what we need. Let's learn how to build credit. Let's understand how to clean our credit if it's bad. Let's understand how not to have bad credit again once it's clean, right? And if we have good credit, how do we build upon it, right? All of that matters because in finance, again, it's about investments. It's about proper spending habits. Like me, for instance, I eat out every day, right? I go to work and on my lunch break, I go out to eat. Whereas my friend was telling me, yo, you really should cook more. You like to cook, you know what to eat, but you don't because you go out to eat. That $20 that you spend times 5 days work, that's an easy $100 that's saved, right? So if I were to just simply go out and buy grocery, that grocery might cost $100. But if I buy a grocery for $100 and still go out to eat and I let the food spoil, now I have just wasted $100. So that's $200 now gone. 200 how? The 100 for the grocery and the 100 for the food that we've gone out to eat, right? And you using your mind on uh using your mind with the finances is just making cleaner decisions, right? Making the right decision will save us a world of harm. It definitely will. And if we don't believe that, then you that is a problem, right? Um, do you need a $500,000 car and you can only afford a $20,000 car? That probably would be a bad investment. Now, is it a cost efficient car? Is it good with mileage? Is the maintenance good? Right? Can you get or is that car durable? So if we can justify why we spend what we spend on it and not for cosmetic reasons, well then that's one thing. But again, no matter what, cars depreciate. From the time that car leaves your that car lot, it depreciates. Again, it's understanding how to make the right investments also. Because just because you get into the stock market don't mean you are making a good investment. Just because you have a retirement plan does not mean that it's a good investment, right? We have to understand what is a Roth IRA as opposed to a regular IRA as opposed to a 401k, right? Um, crypto. Cryptocurrency is something that I really am interested in. And I'm still learning on crypto, myself and my chief of staff, we are actually in the process of seeing how we can build our own blockchain. That's a whole nother story. Can't say that too much. But understanding, making up in your mind that you are just going to be cleaner and more efficient in how you maneuver through this thing that we call life is the main goal, right? Again, we say we want to clean our credit. Listen to people who have cleaned their credit. Understand how they did it. Understand what they did. Utilize the practices that they use, right? Some some institutions may not be around because I know they are trying to get rid of the CF the credit. I forgot the proper name of it. It's a four-letter acronym. It was about consumer credit. We must learn again consumer laws, because consumer laws will help you to be able to remove certain items off of your credit score. But upon getting a high credit number, you must have a plan on how to do it. So, with that being said, we must understand, okay, I want to get $50,000 in business credit, right? 50,000 to some might be small, 50,000 to some might be huge, right? With the $50,000 in business credit, what are you going to do? What business are you going to build, right? How are you going to take that 50 and make it 100? How are you going to take that 100 and make it 250? How are you going to maneuver? Because if you do not have a plan, a visionary mind creates visionary investments. If you do not have that mind, you will create chaos within yourself, right? A sovereign mind builds a sovereign financial life. A powerful mind will build a powerful financial life. Now we have to start stacking. We have to learn how to stack credit, how to leverage credit. We have to learn how to take these six exotic cars and place them in a garage and turn them into a museum so that now you can get a tax break on, right? Understand the money game, understand the finance game, understand the tax game, and then you will then gain. Understand the game, and then you will gain. I had to say it like that because the way I talk in my dialect, it all sounds the same. But I need us to look better. I need us to train better. I need us to speak better. I need us to think better, think clearer, think more efficient and effectively. Because our decisions shape so many lives. They do. You may not think that, but they really do. Especially if you are building commerce, if you are building business, if you have a family, if you are building relationships, one wrong decision can mess up so many livelihoods. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, here is how a gentleman manages both effectively. He established a mental order in the morning. The first 10 minutes will set the tone for the next 10 hours. Control the input before you engage the world. Start off in the morning. When you wake up, just lay in silence, lay in darkness for about 10 minutes. I had to learn different breathing rituals, right? You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 2 seconds, and you let out for 8 seconds. Or you can do it for about 5 minutes, right? Excuse me, wake up in the morning, drink like I would say drink lemon water, right? Lemon water, it helps if you are a bigger or a heavier gentleman, or you have some excess stomach fat that you want to get rid of. It'll help to eat the stomach fat before you start to eat. But also, what lemon water will do is lemon water will help energize you and get your day started, right? Open up the windows, open up the blinds, let the sun come in, let the light shine through. Even if it's a bit overcast, let the natural light come in. It will help to jumpstart your day, right? Create a financial strategy that is both simple and clear and enforceable, right? We can't get up in the morning and say, I'm gonna make $1 million today if you don't know how to make $1 million, right? Start with something simple. I'm gonna launch my digital product today, and I'm gonna aim to get 4 new customers, right? Maybe you might say you want to challenge yourself and say you want to gain 8 new customers, right? But set a strategy that is enforceable. Your money needs boundaries. Your money needs a purpose. Your money needs to be directed. Know what you're going to do. Point that money to where it's going to go. And always set a purpose for it. This money is to grow my business. This money is going to go to this credit union to get this piece of equipment to now make my business grow. This is how you take the seed, put it into the ground, and make it grow. It will flourish if you do that. It definitely will flourish if you do that. But you have to be persistent and you must be intentional on the purpose and the direction of this money because once again, we do not want to make bad investments and we don't want to make horrible judgment decisions. We don't. Number 3, link your decisions to your identity, not your emotions. When your identity leads, your impulses cannot sabotage you. A lot of people have impulse spending. When they feel bad, they go spend. When they feel good, they go spend. When they mad, they spend. Whether it's on food, whether it's on clothes, whether it's on alcohol, whether you spend on cigarettes, whether you spend on cannabis, whether you spend on cigars. You have, you cannot let a wild impulse mess up your progress. Many times, men start out doing very well with what they do. And I'm talking about myself and I'm talking to myself. We start off doing very well. We are consistent. We are persistent. We are doing what we have to do. We waking up in the morning. We doing our morning rituals and everything like that. But then we get too excited and we see something we like, and then it all goes out the way. It all goes out the window, right? Be intentional. Do not let a wild impulse set you back. Don't do it. Also, track what you spend. You don't track what you spend to restrict yourself, but you do it to remain powerful. Treat the mind and the money like they are business partners in the same mission. Anything in your life that you want, you must make it work for you. Everything has to be on the same page. I heard a gentleman say, I don't know if it was Wall Street Trapper. I don't know if I forgot who it was, but I heard a gentleman say he had his 9 to 5 be his first business partner. Many of us hate our jobs. Not everybody, and not careers. Many of us hate our jobs, right? The money from that job and your mind must work together to get to where you're going. It's like, okay, in the state of Texas, we have an extensive freeway system, preferably Houston. You ride the feeder road and you get onto the ramp to merge into the major interstate. Into the major interstate, right? The goal is the interstate. Your mind is the feeder road. Your mind in that feeder role, I mean, your mind and your thoughts must come together and merge to flow where you need it to go. Has to happen. Absolutely has to happen. Because why? Without your mind guiding you, your finances will go chaotic. Period. Period. Your mind generates the vision. Your finances fund the vision. Together, they build a life you are destined to lead. Absolutely. When you see it, you believe it. When you believe it, you apply it. This is why you got to get the right. This is why you have to get the right fuel into your car. Because if you put diesel in the gas engine, it's not going to function properly. But when you put high grade fuel into your automobile, it will help your car to push itself to be better, right? So why do I say that? Your mind will form the vision, and your finances will fund it. Like, what a mighty God we serve. They used to say, if you can see it, you can achieve. If you see it, you can achieve. You must always take in the right information. We love content. Everybody loves content. This is content, right? We have to, we have to see what we want, meditate on that, breathe it, live it, speak it. Now, you can't always tell everybody, but you have to at least see it for yourself. So many people don't like to dream, which is crazy to me. People don't like to sleep. I love to sleep because I like to see the dream. I like to see what God has for me. So with that dream, I dreamt that I would be doing a podcast. I dreamt that I would sit in front of a microphone and talk. Now we're here. When I monetize this, we're going to reinvest this to make the dream bigger. When a gentleman masters his thought and directs his finances with intention, he then becomes unstoppable. He becomes a man who does not wait for life to get better. He builds the life he desires. When you see what a LeBron James is, now mind you, I don't even like the dude. But when you see what LeBron James has done, he's taken the project that he lived in. He built a film studio and named the project after his film studio. I mean, he named his film studio after his project, right? Utilize everything in your life for the better. If it was a hindrance before, make it a help now. If it was a fault before, make it beautiful now. It was the imperfection then, make perfect it now. Don't ever, ever stop dreaming. Build that life that you look to build. When you close your eyes at night and you say, man, or you think back to when you were a child and say, man, I wanted to be a doctor. Man, I wanted to be, a refinery worker. Man, I wanted to do this. If you can't do that, if you feel that you can't do that, find something else that you can do around it and make it work. My little cousin, man, he tore his ACL when he was a junior in high school. I think it's his summer going into his junior year. I say, boy, if you want to be in the sports, man, you can do everything around sports. You don't have to keep getting hit. Keep living the dream, man. Be the architect and ruler of your own kingdom. This is the true essence of power. This is the work of a refined gentleman. We are not building in this community because this is going to be a community. Essence of a gentleman, refined man. We are building a community of like-minded individuals and masterminds. I am a mastermind, but I tune my mind into being here. I train my mind to become here. And now I'm walking out what I see. So the mind helps to direct the finance. Always remember that. Please always remember that. Well, good fellow, that's the foundation. Power does not begin with status, applause, or opportunity. It begins with order, internal order, and financial order. A gentleman's first battlefield is in his own mind. He cannot command his thoughts. He will never command his outcome. If he cannot discipline his emotions, he will never discipline his wallet. Mental power shapes your lenses. Financial power shapes your life. So tonight, good fellas, I'll leave you with this. Before you ask for more, master what you already have. Before you chase wealth, refine the mind that must sustain it. Before you pursue power in this world, please claim the power within yourself, because the man who governs his mind becomes unshakable, and the man who governs his money becomes undeniable. This has been the Gentleman's Parlour, where refinement is ritual, discipline is identity, power is simply who you become. Until next time, good fellow, remain intentional, remain sovereign, and above all, remain powerful. And I bid you